Well, hello, everyone. I thought I'd talk to you today about the federal court structure. Where does it come from? Well, actually, Article 3 of the United States Constitution is the only place where a court's mentioned, and the only court actually mentioned is the United States Supreme Court. But then it gives Congress the ability to add district courts and stuff. And so Congress, as the country grew, did that. So there are 94 federal district courts. 89 of the 94 are in the 50 states, and 7 are in the territories, like Virgin Islands, special jurisdictions. Now, the biggest states have 4 districts. Oh, states like Ohio, where we are, that we have a northern district and a southern district. All right, there are 677 federal district judges. It's a big number. And then after the federal district courts, you go to the Circuit Court of Appeals. And there are 13 Circuit Court of Appeals staffed by 179 Circuit Court of Appeals judges. And then after that, you go to the United States Supreme Court. And of course, we know there's 9 justices. Now, they are appointed by the President of the United States, and they have a lifetime service. And the only way a federal judge, and a lot of people didn't realize this, but the only way a federal judge can be removed from the bench is if he's impeached by Congress. Yeah, that's happened before, but that's the only way you get rid of a federal district judge. Now, bankruptcy courts don't have lifetime appointments. They're a specialty court, and they're considered federal judges, but they don't have lifetime appointments. It's for 10 years. The bankruptcy courts are sort of like a weak sister of the federal district courts, but they don't have lifetime appointments, and the federal judges all vote on who's going to be there. Now, magistrate judges serve under federal district courts, and they handle a lot of the heavy lifting for the federal district judges. Magistrates don't have a lifetime appointment either. Their appointments are for 10 years. But a federal district judge, well, they're very powerful check on the legislative and governmental branch. For instance, mifepristone. One federal district judge shut it down for the entire country. That's pretty powerful. A lot of people don't realize how powerful a federal judge is. They're appointed for life. They can't be removed for a bad decision. The voters don't get to vote on them. They're done by a presidential appointment, and then they go be confirmed by the Senate. Now, in the old days, you had to get 60 votes, but they changed that now. You don't need 60 votes for any federal district judges, any appellate judges, or any Supreme Court judges. I think that was a mistake, but they've politicized the federal courts. So that's basically how federal court structures run. And they're courts of what they call limited jurisdiction. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, you can only go there for federal crimes or federal statutes, or if there's diversity of citizenship. So if one guy from one state suing another guy from another state, and it's above, I believe, 125,000 now, you can get in the federal court that way. But they move their cases very fast, and they're courts of limited jurisdictions. But federal judges are very powerful governmental officials. People don't realize how powerful a federal district judge is. And then, of course, the Supreme Court of the United States, they're the ultimate bosses. That came from a case called Marbury versus Madison back in the day. And that's when the Supreme Court laid down the law and said, we're the boss. We will ultimately determine what you executive branch does is constitutional. We will ultimately determine, Congress, what you do is constitutional or not. So way back in the day, under Marbury versus Madison, that's when they established their primacy. There never used to be 9 Supreme Court justices. They expanded that. There never used to be 13 Circuit Court of Appeals, so Congress has expanded that. And there certainly wasn't 94 federal district courts. As the country grew, they kept growing. And so there's been a push lately. Maybe we should add a couple more Supreme Court justices. I think that's an argument for another day, but that's the short and dirty of the federal system. And how federal courts are operated and where they come from.